What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Apologize for the messy hair. Kind of just woke up a little bit later in the day. I'm just cooking breakfast. It's gonna be kind of a different type of video. Today I'm gonna be going over like how to grow your chest. And yeah, I'll give you some details on that. But right now I'm just making breakfast. Some English muffin action. Gotta get that out. With eggs and ham. And cheese too. Alright. Let's get started. So, today I'm going to be going over how to grow your chest, what you could be doing wrong. And yeah, so I have a couple tips on my phone, so that's probably why I'm looking down at my phone pretty often. The first thing is, okay, so I'm going to start off like growing up, what I did, and then I'm going to tell you like what I implemented to like really skyrocket the growth of my chest. This video is really highly requested, so I've gotten a lot of people asking me about, you know, Leo, do a how to grow your chest video. What am I doing wrong? Let me know how to grow my chest. So growing up, when I started lifting at 14, I had a home gym, and in the last video, you guys saw it. So basically, all I have is a squat rack in there and two 25-pound dumbbells, and one of them broke recently, so now just one, which is really impractical. But anyways, my form wasn't the best growing up, but that doesn't really matter. That's how everyone starts. But I'll pop up some clips about like what I did a little bit, maybe, if I can find some. So I basically built most of my chest off of just a barbell bench press. Just a simple, basically the classic. I built most of my chest off of that growing up, and I did see a lot of progress through it, but there are definitely better ways to put muscle mass on your chest, to grow your chest. If you're just looking for the aesthetic and having a big chest, a great exercise that does that is your incline dumbbell press. That's my all-time favorite chest exercise by far, just because you get a really good contraction in your upper chest. And your upper chest is like, that's what builds an aesthetic chest. You want like a big upper chest to really give you a full pec look. Obviously you don't want to neglect your lower portion of your chest, but I don't directly train lower chest as much as I do incline, like upper chest movements. I started doing that a lot more as I moved out of my home gym, or at least I still lift in my home gym, but when I started venturing out, I incorporated that a lot more. But I'll talk about some exercises towards the end as like a little bonus tip. So I have 5 main tips and then kind of a bonus tip at the end. And I'm going to pop up clips and stuff throughout this, so it's not just a one shot deal. The first tip, number 1, is train with intensity. So that's very important, because training with intensity is basically like going to failure on almost every set. I'm about 1 rep shy of failure for almost every set, because I usually train alone, but for some of the sets I do go to failure or past failure. You don't want to do that on every set though, because you will probably not be able to recover, especially if you're natural. I see a lot of people in the gym that don't train with enough intensity. They're like 3 reps shy of failure, or even 4 sometimes, and they just put the weight down. They're not like, you're not done. You have more work you gotta do. So those last couple reps, those are your growing reps. That's how you grow. The pain is like, that's a good thing. You want to feel really like high tension pain on those last couple reps. Tip number 2 is progressive overload. Alright, so let's say you're in the gym for the first time, you do the 55s for 6 reps. Next week you get in for 8 reps, and then the week after you get in for 10 reps, and then eventually you get in for 12 reps. After that, you can move up in weight. Let's say you try to do the 65s. And then you hit the 65s for 6 reps. So when you hit the 65s for 6 reps, you just basically did one step of progressive overload. You're back at 6 reps. So you can that's the simplest way I can define it. I hope that made sense. So over time, you'll get the 65s that you just moved up to 12 reps, and you'll go back down and move up in weight, and then your reps will be low, and then eventually you just keep building up the weight, and it's kind of a repeating cycle. So that's how you progressive overload. You can apply it in almost all your lifts. A lot of people apply it commonly in your compound lifts, like your bench press, sometimes dumbbell lifts. It really could be in any lift. But yeah, you want to apply that because that's a big factor in growing muscle. Third tip is kind of a bro sciencey tip, but it does help. I've noticed it helps with me a lot. It's called pre-exhaustion. So pretty much, if you don't know what it is, it's when you go into the gym, right, and you haven't done anything. You warmed up, and then, okay, so you just warmed up, right? First exercise, you normally go into like a progressive or a compound lift, like a bench press, barbell bench press or something, for example. With progressive overload, your first lift is a isolation exercise. So like a cable fly or a pec deck, for example. Basically, when you do an isolation exercise, it'll pump more blood in your muscle, like in the beginning of your workout, and give you a pump. When you have a pump, you can really feel the contraction when you go into that compound lift a lot better, which helps with your mind-muscle connection and building muscle. So that has helped me a lot. I started incorporating that within like the last couple of years. If you struggle with your mind-muscle connection, definitely try that tip out because it can really change the game. The next tip is not related to actually training, but it's these next 2 tips. They're not actually related to training itself, but they're very helpful. First off is your diet and your supplements. So that is like, your diet itself is it's a very big factor. It's almost like 80%. A lot of people say it's 80% of the game. It's arguably more important than training itself. So your diet is very important because what you put into your body basically determines if you grow or not. Like if you eat in a calorie surplus, you'll gain weight. If you eat in a deficit, you'll lose weight. And the quality of food needs to be there. Your macros need to be on point. So yeah, that's a enormous factor. For some inspo on like what type of meals you should be eating if you want to build muscle, I have a lot in my video. There's a meal in this video itself, but some lean protein sources, like chicken, steak, any beef source that's lean. I like when I go to the grocery store and I get ground beef, a lot of people get 80-20, I get 96-4. So like it's really about the quality of food that you put into your body. Next up, carbs. Oatmeal's great, white rice, brown rice. Your starches like potatoes, very good. You want to stay away from things like French fry, any fried food, like pizza, like that stuff's kind of shitty for you. It's more so a cheat meal thing. And then like fats, avocado's great, and nut butters are really good too. So like peanut butter, almond butter. Okay, also I kind of want to expand on supplements. So obviously, I take all alkaline stuff. Pre-workout's great, but the main staple ones that you should be taking for building muscle are protein powder and creatine. Protein powder just kind of helps you get your protein goal. It makes it easier to reach your protein goal. And then creatine really helps with building muscle as well. I did know all the science behind creatine at one point because I had like a presentation I had to make on it, but I can kind of sum it up a little bit. It basically saturates your muscles, puts a little more water in there, and it helps you hit a couple more reps at the end of your set. Gives you a little bit more energy in that standpoint. It's not like caffeine, but it helps you get a little more reps out. And yeah, it helps you build muscle a lot. So you'll typically gain a little bit of weight when you start taking it, which is totally normal. Next tip is recovery. This is tip number 5. You want to be getting around 8 hours of sleep a night because that's where you grow. You grow in your sleep, so it's very important as well. Last tip number 6, kind of a bonus tip. I'm just gonna like list off some of my favorite exercises that have helped me grow my chest a ton. So obviously the bench press, first one. It's probably not the most efficient, but it's just how I grew my chest in the beginning. Another great one that is definitely my all-time favorite is the incline dumbbell press. Cable flies are awesome. You can do like low to highs, you can do high to lows, you can even do middle cable flies. And then like the pec deck is awesome as well. A couple other side ones that I do like a lot still are dips. You got the hammer strength, like the high to low, like lower chest hammer strength press is awesome. There's also some really good plated incline plated machines for your chest, for your upper chest. And yeah, that's about it. So those are like my main tips in growing your chest. And obviously you can apply, obviously not the exercises, but the principles that I stated previously. Alright, so my SD card just filled up, that's why I cut. But anyways, basically those principles, everything I stated previously, you can apply that to building muscle everywhere. Your shoulders, your arms, your legs, pretty much everywhere. Like progressive overload is used for every muscle. But yeah, that's how you grow your chest. Just keep doing it. You got to be consistent. Another tip, consistency. It's a huge factor. You have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you won't see growth because you need to consistently be breaking down and building up the muscle. Breaking it down through training and building it up through recovery. Alright, so right now it's the next morning. I did want to say a couple things. So first off, I apologize for like the lack of videos recently. So right now it's the end of the semester and there's like literally 1 to 2 weeks left. There's 2 weeks left. It's like 1 week of class and then the next week is like a bunch of finals. So I'm really like bogged down with finals and everything. So I have to kind of lock in for that. But when the summer comes, then it'll be a lot easier to film a lot more because it'll be my like everything I'm doing will be going into this. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.